interesting spots. We can just take a
This
peek.
meeting is being recorded.
What's up, everybody? This is the poker coaching study session. Today we're working on ICM pre-flop. So this is the new pre-flop academy trainer. So it puts us on final table situations and we need to figure out what to do here. So this is an easy fold.
I agree. Oh, it's actually
What?
just going crazy.
No way. There's no way.
We were the shortest, right?
I would like to. Wow.
To
Wow.
open. Oh, wow.
Raise.
Fold.
I think
The
it's a
shortest again.
fold. It's a fold.
Short stack. Let them bet.
Oh, 5%, right? Which is never. Fold.
Fold. It actually might call this, I think. Yeah.
I'm sure it does.
What do you think? Yeah, this is
Fold.
easy.
Fold. 2, 3 short stacks.
Open?
I think this is an open for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Alright.
For sure, Galen.
Oh, mark
For
it,
sure.
mark it, mark it.
Yeah, this is a fold. Nope, some of it's calling.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
Hard to check the stack sizes very quick. Are we on a time limit? Yeah.
Please
Sucks.
fold.
You wanna fold this?
Yeah,
Yes.
6 big blind. There's
I
a
think
6
it's a
big blind
call.
out there.
yeah, you're out of position. But
A majority fold.
60% fold.
This is really ICM.
Fold, 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 fold.
Fold, fold.
This final table ICM.
Oh, okay.
Let's
I
call.
think so, at least. I hope so.
I think this is going to fold. When you got two short stacks in there, the collision
Alright.
effect is
Fold
supposed to be. It does some of that though.
Oh, never
Probability.
calling.
Yeah,
Good.
Oh, good, finally.
Put it in his face.
Yep.
This is easy. With
Not
folding?
easy.
Was there a micro stack out there?
Dylan must be very.
No.
Call?
I think this is a call. Yeah,
Yeah, I would call. Don't like it, but I would call. If I flop a pair, then I can jam. I mean, yeah.
A pair of 5, you jam?
I don't think you can.
At least I
More
don't fold.
micros. I think we can raise
Yeah,
this.
No, just call. Jesus.
Yeah.
yeah, I called. Yeah.
Okay.
Look, all the answers are correct. Call is the best option though.
All in.
This is probably fine. Yeah,
Yeah, I was folding. That was okay.
But I don't to my side.
Open.
Okay, so you didn't like Jack 5. What about Queen 6? I mean,
Open.
open
The
it.
stack sizes are different.
Thank you.
looks good.
Fold?
I think
Fold.
fold's probably good here, yeah.
Ah,
It's
We're
a low
covered.
ace.
so already that's pretty good, man.
Call.
Call.
I think it calls.
We're not calling suited aces whenever it's multi-way. You guys know
We're
this?
basically
give
not
you-
playing multi-way.
Offsuit aces, you mean?
I'll give you an opinion after we get done with this
Oh.
session.
Suited
Call.
aces are good. Multiway.
There we are, the big stack.
Fold.
Fold.
I think it's gonna go bananas here some.
Yeah, just go all in.
Yeah, probably
All
going
in
all
this
in.
one. Oh, all in every time. Raise.
Go all in.
20 big blinds? Yeah, shove.
Yeah, this hand's too strong. Yeah, this is not happening.
Fold.
Who made this?
Call.
Louis,
fold,
did you make it? You net?
Fold,
Folding kings?
I
fold.
think we call this. You wanna
Call.
fold?
Yeah,
Probably. Yeah, it's close.
Yeah, tens is close, it seems.
fold.
Yeah, that's
Fold.
easy.
Fold.
Fold.
Yeah,
We're not doing it with ace three. We're not doing it with 7-3.
Call.
Call.
What are you
Yep.
thinking, Louis?
fold.
You think fold? I
I'm
think,
sure it's a call, but I'm
I think
always
it's a
folding here. Because it's the bottom of the range.
yeah, it's close.
Yeah, it's suited. I mean,
Under the gun versus under the gun, one ICM, doesn't get any worse. I would always call here, I guess this is not
That's true.
okay.
This is not gonna be a call.
Go
It's
all
gonna be this.
in,
Or this. Yeah.
that's a big one, right?
Yeah,
Big blunder.
he shoves. We have eights.
early.
We're calling this.
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah, we're short. We're not gonna
Yeah.
get better than that. Fold.
Okay. I don't think this one needs much analysis.
That's a lot of chips.
Here's a good spot. What do you think?
Chip. Call.
Raise.
Yeah, we're
I like-
suited.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
but 10 big blinds. 10
Oh.
big blinds.
Realize equity here.
Call. Yeah,
Call, check,
Agree.
same difference. Okay.
Fold.
Yeah, the big stack.
we're out of the,
Cool.
wa-
I think this is gonna be the option.
Call.
Call? I think
Yeah.
it's gonna do this or this. Nope, I'm wrong.
He's all in.
Yep, I think so too.
No. What does it do? It likes to call and fold?
Maybe.
Jesus.
Yeah, but all in is almost same as calling or not.
Okay, so fold.
That's possible. So that's
Oh my goodness. I fold.
Yeah, when you close the action, it seems to get much wider very quickly.
Yeah, fold.
This is gonna fold.
fold.
Nope, it calls.
Call.
Yeah, there's another example.
I didn't close the action.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
Mm,
goodness.
The big blind was still.
Just call.
Fold.
Yeah, it's a fold. Jesus.
Sliver.
Don't
So
get
we're
caught by
good
the big
here.
stack
We can
behind you.
call. We can call this
I
one.
did call. I
Oh,
did calling. If you even called queen 10 some of the time, if you're in smaller stack, then
Oh
Ooh.
my goodness.
This is easy.
Really?
Queens.
Hold it.
fold.
100%, 100%,
Yeah, this is a full.
75%.
I was
About
taking,
100%.
I was taking the 25.
This is a fold for sure, I would think.
Go all in.
Out of position,
in?
somebody behind you.
blocker.
Oh,
They all got that. You can
Oh.
ladder.
oh,
Wow.
Oh,
you have an ace.
hi, Louis.
Fold.
Fold. Yeah,
Screw you. I'm not jamming here.
against population.
Call. I'm so unsure what to do here multi-way now.
I think it's
that
gonna
way.
fold.
No, I
But
think
we'll
it's
call.
call. We're big
You're,
blind.
you're closing the action, you call.
Oh my
You can
goodness.
abuse, you can
No,
abuse the post
God.
flop.
No.
No,
That was a 6 big blind stack.
Oh,
That
what
may have-
is it?
All in.
all in.
All in?
Or the bluffing.
Yeah, mixing. Can't go wrong.
This is probably just
Fold.
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 Queen eight. What is this?
Bigger, so I would fold.
Everybody's deep.
You wanna limp it?
no,
No.
Oh, this is a dirty one, folding.
I think he's calling. Oh, he's folding.
I think we need to go all in. Ah, no,
Jam.
it's not. Oh my god.
Jam.
Raise.
No, just call.
Don't jam, don't jam.
No, right?
So dirty, so
Louis
dirty.
is an ICM ninja.
Fold.
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 Yeah, I would fold.
Oh.
Are we doing a certain amount of hands or is just
Fold.
going on forever?
Fold.
I think it's 40
Finally
that it
need-
does, and then it,
Gonna do, this is technically my shot, and then you guys are gonna play,
Oh, oh, we didn't know that.
but
Sorry.
it's
Louis.
okay. Fold.
does cost a little bit, but yeah, folding.
Feels bad. Oh my god, squeeze it,
Raise.
squeeze it. No, just squeeze.
I think it folds.
No, it's squeeze
Nope, I'm wrong. I'm too nitty.
it. Open? Yeah, open.
Yeah, that's good. Too strong.
Call.
Fold.
No, it's a call. Oh,
Suited twos.
feels bad. Fold. Call. And when last time queen four was like call in. No, just call.
Yeah, you don't fold. That's for sure.
I hate these ones. Oh my goodness, easy, fold. Just
I would
fold.
fold.
Two. All in,
Fold.
all in.
You can probably get away with it all in here at some
Yeah, all
frequency,
in.
although
For
it I think
sure.
it probably folds.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
it's probably-
God. Oh my god.
Hey, only get
Call
called
this one. Call. It's fine, gentlemen. Oh my god, what the hell? Ace ten suited.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah, fold.
All right, Louis, you got a passing grade with a little cheating assistance, but
Yeah,
I think this is you mostly.
yeah.
All
That's
right,
fine.
so before we continue to somebody else, we can kind of discuss some of these hands. I've been doing a little ICM study this week, and I've been trying to take a couple concepts and applying to some of these situations with like varying success. But one thing, let's see if we can find a good example.
Is it?
Okay, so with hands like this, I was watching some content that was talking about this concept of collision effect. And basically it's kind of like the reverse thing of ICM pressure and a different vein of sorts. Like when there is a high probability of other players at the table ending up all in or raising the stakes, or, you know, like, so let's say me being a large stack and this guy being a short stack, when it folds to me, I should be jamming the majority of my range. I think like 80% or something crazy like that. And he should be calling, you know, 30% of his range or something like that, which would lead to like a high collision effect. Or like these two guys being laggy people, opening a lot, opening too wide, raising too wide would cause a high collision effect. And then other things like these high multi-way pots where it's like a raise, early position call leads to a higher collision effect. So when there is a high collision effect, it kind of incentivizes us to really constrict our range and really play tight. That's one thing that I've been kind of noticing. So it's like if there's a situation where there's like a highly multi-way pot, we're usually not opting to get in the middle of that. Short stacks that are opening up, like 10 big blinds opens up and there's a caller, really high collision effect, which translates to dollars. So we're going to fold a lot of our range. Another kind of heuristic I've been looking at is like with chippy EV scenarios, when we close the action, we continue with almost our entire range, right? We're basically just folding the worst offsuit garbage. In ICM environments, it's not quite the same. We fold, I haven't really figured out a floor, and it's also contextual, right? So there's different scenarios as you've seen through some of these examples. But the floor is much tighter than it is in chip EV scenarios. So like this, for instance, we've got all these people here. Normally we would be just closing a ton of the action, right? This is wanting to do like very, very like linear top end stuff where it's only continuing with a raise pretty much, and it's only the value portion of the range. And I don't know if that's a function of like how some of these sims are run like 4 ways or what, but that's how a lot of these kind of turn out.
Hey, Galen, can I ask you just a basic question about the sim? Because I'm looking at this example and I saw a lot of them. Every player here is playing ICM optimal.
Yeah.
Everybody, these are all optimal plays. It's just interesting that there's an open and 2 callers, because there's so little calling done when you've got people behind you. It's interesting.
Right, yeah, we could actually, I mean, I could pull up each of these individual ranges, so.
Yeah, I would like to see one.
Yeah.
Here. So this is
Alright.
basically the big blind multi-way as we saw. Well,
Yeah,
I think
that's
it was
exactly
right there, right?
So I'm just gonna open up this other window and we can actually just look at the ranges. So this is an 8-way sim where the big blind's 36 and this is like 25. So 8-way, big blind.
26 in the middle, right above 60.
Yeah, but this is, I think it may be this one. I may have just.
It doesn't matter that much. We want to see calling ranges.
Big blind is 36.
Yeah, 36. So we need EP 15 and then 37. So 15, 37. This is our sim right here. This is the one that is running. So first we can look at what MP is doing versus EP, which is the first range. So it's like there's not much of a calling range here.
Wow.
The greens are the calls, right?
So we should
Yeah.
mix with ace jack suited here.
Yeah.
Right.
We're
So-
snap holding king jack suited, queen jack suited.
Oh wait, I'm wrong. So MP RFIs low jack calls. It may change a little bit. I don't know. So MP open.
Are these random hands or is these somebody's final table?
This is
These
just
are all
the trainer.
These are all ICM simulations that were run in Munker, given these parameters.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, so that wasn't right. This has got a little more prominent of a flatting range, still not a
Yeah, I
lot.
see.
All right, so now we can look at the multi-way situation where the cutoff comes along. So we need to go to multi-way. So the razor MP, it's gonna want us to be the cutoff. So razor was MP low jack. And yeah, so
Pocket jacks?
yeah, so we can, this is a really strong range.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be jacks, it's gonna be queens.
He's only
Pretty sure.
flatting 5% or something like that. I mean,
Yeah, it's
Second,
flatting 0.2%. It's really not a lot. I mean, he's only continuing here. Yeah, so like 6% of hands. There's not a lot of stuff here.
I'm surprised that flats like queens and jacks are pretty good. They're strong. And then I'm surprised it doesn't mix in like a couple speculative combinations, like whatever, I don't know, ace 5 or ace 4 suited, like a small percentage, like
yeah, but they
usually
also
when you flat a strong hand, you get to flat a couple like hands that can make the nuts but aren't really good.
yeah,
think
but
kinda
I
what
think
we're
in this situation, queens is not the nuts.
I think
No,
what we're
no, but
getting
it's
to-
good.
It's okay, but not good.
I think
Well, the only
idea-
observation I was making is this specific scenario that you're being presented with is a real corner case. I mean, it's very unlikely this is going to
Yeah.
show. But
I
yeah,
think
I
it's
get it.
likely, I think it happens a lot, but the ranges are way wider.
Well, no, that's why I asked the first question, which is, are we playing against?
Yeah, at least not on my final tables.
Yeah.
well, so this, I mean,
mean,
this at least can
final
provide
table,
you
yeah, but-
a baseline of what like some of these scenarios should look like.
Yeah,
And then,
no, it's
you know,
interesting.
so if people are showing up with like the cutoff, they got like 7-6 suited here, you can make some pretty broad assumptions that they're not as ICM aware in some areas. Like, because the cutoff here, when these two people open early position and flat, they're going to, there's going to be a higher probability that somebody's going broke this hand. So we really just don't want to be in that party. Like, we got a big stack. We kind of want to just make dollars at this point.
Right.
So the fact they are battling makes us dollars indeed already.
Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of the idea behind the whole collision effect thing.
Yeah, you make, so the point is when you start seeing these multi-way situations or there's a configuration where it looks like two people are going to battle, you kind of want to stay out of the way and let the carnage happen.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You play an extremely tight linear range at this point. You don't polarize with some fancy combos. Yeah, you just leave the solver specials for a later date.
If one goes broke, you already probably gain 1 or 2% EV. Dollar.
Yeah, so in this situation, if somebody goes broke, it's $50, you know, out of whatever, I don't know what the buy-ins for this were or how that is calculated, but I mean, you're making money. So eights, how is this situation?
Final table is probably $5 or $10 buy-in for $50 with 8 left or whatever, you know,
Yeah,
like
it's
4 or
not
5
bad.
buy-ins.
This is some another behavior that I see a lot of. It
Lower
really, for some reason, does not like 9s and 8s. I think it just has something to do with having 9s and 8s is really just, it's not good for whatever reason. Maybe it just interacts with the floor of his opening
I
range.
think it interacts with the folding range probably from one of those players.
Yeah, maybe we're just highly blocking the bottom of their range, which, you know, makes it super dangerous to kind of get involved. But queen 4, this was just,
But I think that's hard to figure out. What the I mean, for the solver, it knows, but
right. No, you're 100% right. It's very contextual. That's why it's like looking at some of these spots and just trying to get like a general understanding of the behavior is kind of what my goal here is.
Love
Like,
to
I mean,
see population data, like look at, you know, I just started playing again, so I don't have enough final tables yet, but look at actual shown hands on final tables that I've played or that someone's played, you know, and kind of compare the numbers that come
Well,
up to.
So what you can do and what I do occasionally is, and you'll see it's pretty vastly different from here, is you can go to the GG Poker YouTube and
There's also like a YouTube channel. You can check out Cali Poker TV. That's a really good one.
the poker.
He's got mostly poker stars on Cali, right?
Yeah.
So this is what I've been
Good,
doing, right?
rationally.
They do these 10K buy-ins and like the other big events that they do on the site, and then they review the final table. And I mean, it's got like a lot of the greats, right? You got Jason Kuhn, you got Adamo, you got
Right.
Chidwick here. So you can see they play the final tables face up. So you get to actually see what some of these people are doing and, you know, just what some of the crushers are doing. And like, I've been trying to compare that lately with what I'm seeing here. And there's definitely some parallels. And I mean, you see where it diverges a little bit. Like I'm sure everyone's familiar with Bert, Giraffe Granger.
Yeah.
I was watching one of his, and it's very interesting. His approach, kind of to how he handles final tables. Definitely not GTO approved in the ICM sense, but he's very ICM aware. And you can see that through his play.
He's also aware that not all players are ICM aware.
Yeah,
Or at
that's
least
kind of what I meant
playing-
with like looking.
playing correctly ICM. Let's say
Right.
that.
So like, and there's two examples, right? So if you really want to see two people that are very aware of ICM, like Bert is one of them, and then Adamo. He's very interesting to watch.
Art streaming today.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I like
they-
what Bert said about Adamo in one of his some video that he did. He talked about Adamo being aware enough to like being aware of where the sickos are deviating and punishing them for deviating is like something that he feels like Adamo's good
Yeah,
at.
Adamo, what I've seen is Adamo is just a pressure cooker in these situations. He understands like the ICM pressure being applied to people in certain situations, and he just turns the heat up to 500 degrees kind of situation. Like I mean, in some of these final tables, he's just like open jamming into 20 big blind stacks with 8-4 offsuit and stuff like that because they can't call, with the exception of like maybe 10 combos of hands. And like he's getting folds from like ace queen off and kind of crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, but you can only do that against
show me that
opponents you
queen
know
four
that are going to
suited.
play well, like appropriately though, right? Like,
Yeah, you want to
Yeah.
know that that they are folding enough.
38.
Otherwise, makes no sense.
Yeah, it's such a weird dynamic because you also get it, you get into where it's like there are plays that the solver, like in those situations where you're supposed to call, but even a lot of top pros just aren't. And so, he could, like, somebody who's aware of that can put a lot more pressure, but then
If they have
you take that to a different state.
you
That it's
could,
like,
you could be sitting there knowing that he is opening super wide, but you still
Right.
have to, if
You
you're
still have to
studied,
fold.
you still have to play your tight range because that's the value. You can only play the value of your hand, I think.
Can you show
Right.
a small
They're
blind
doing.
calling range pre-flop? What does it look like?
What a small blind calling range looks like pre-flop for this scenario.
Yeah.
So we need 36, 18, 32. And this
Big blind
is
is 60, so should be
36, 18, 32. This is our sim. And verse RFI position was hijack versus small blind. We're in the small blind versus the hijack. So pretty heavy, these hands that are too strong to fold, but not strong
Queens.
enough to call a 4-bet or stack off.
Queens, jacks, get out of here.
What Queen Jacks get out of here?
Flat call with queens, yeah.
It seems like there's a lot of like protecting the calling range here because these are really good.
That I would say also indeed. You flat Queens, Jacks, and Tens because you call with those also.
Looking at this range, why are we raising queen four suited against this? Ignore the initial raiser, but this range.
Because we block pocket queens.
I think Queen 4 is probably targeting a lot of this.
Like the best hand here is
Yeah.
queens, right?
Let's
So
just look
we
at that.
block it when we have a queen in our hand. I think that's just it.
I guess in that range, I didn't see queen four suited from the other guy.
Yeah, I didn't see
Offsuit.
We raised the small queens.
yeah, because we block the top of their calling range, right?
Ugh.
Of
Right.
the original raise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, man.
Yeah.
We block the best hand when we have queen four, but wow. No one is ever gonna flat call queens here, right?
Well, yeah.
It's not happening.
That's why I'm saying, like, that's kind of what I was saying earlier.
Bobby,
Like, I'd love to
38
see the population tendencies where at the stakes I play at or the site I play at, just because
What's
like
that?
I only just came back recently, and I'm playing like a $20 ABI or so on Iggy, but like every final table I'm at, people are still flatting like all their small pairs, you know,
On what side?
speculative hands like on ignition.
Gotcha.
And so it would just be interesting to see what the adjustments would be for that. I'm like not at all studied in ICM. Like
I think that you have the all the ranges.
Yeah, well, before you start to make adjustment, you wanna have an idea of the general strategy.
yeah, for sure.
Your ICM and try to copy it. And once you have a vague idea of what to do, now you start to make adjustments.
Right, that makes sense.
It's really tough.
So these in these ICM scenarios, it seems like the lion's share of the 4-bet jamming range and just like the stack off range is completely ace X, king X.
Yeah, ace
So-
blocker.
Right, so with pocket queens, we are unblocking their continuing range completely. So we unblock their bluffs, we unblock their value. I just don't know if we really are incentivized to stack off with a hand like this, considering what their response is doing. Is probably got something to do with it. So it's like also we're covered is the other thing. There's a 6 big blind stack, an 18 big blind stack, a 26. I think unblocking their like aggression, continued aggression, when we're in a decent position like this is probably what's going on here.
I wanna see multi-way. What if the button calls out of the blue?
I think if the hijack's involved, I think we're probably gonna be pretty tight. So,
I'd like to see the
Okay.
small blind
Yeah,
strategy.
the button should be
First.
already tight against the hijack.
Okay, yeah. So no more calls and, but that queen 4 stuff is still happening.
Yeah,
it's
king
pressure.
10 folded.
Queen blocker.
Yeah,
So
our,
blocking pocket queen seems to be a thing.
well-
Final table.
Yeah, I think it's just, ace X, king X really makes up a lot of the opening range and the, continuing range. So when we're covered, we just kind of have to stay in line, you know?
Is it not also that because we 3-bet ace queen off and queens, that we have a lot of queens that we want to have as a bluff?
Could be, but I doubt it.
I think that's
I
for
think
sure the
it's,
case. That's the reason we don't have kings as because we jam ace king.
It's jamming king, queen, which is kind of interesting. I'm just not doing some of this.
yeah, but
But,
then look at the jacks. We 3-bet jacks and we don't 4-bet, we don't 3-bet like low jack.
Yeah, way less ace jack than ace queen that we.
Still, it's not happening. I believe it's
Yeah, but we
more
don't
the,
do a lot with jacks. We also
But
call with jacks.
just,
We don't-
I am guessing, but I'm guessing that it's because we block the top of the range from villain. More than just
Yeah.
because some part of our range is
Yeah,
playing.
why then don't we use the king?
What are we trying to do?
Because here, the king, like when they flat call, the king is not like, is not that big of a factor. Because they
Josh,
don't
are
have
you-
much kings in their calling range.
Are you asking about this range right here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
why- yeah,
wondering
why-
why we don't play back with low
I
king.
think it's like anything else, okay? So like some of the bluffy combos that we use in a chip EV scenario, like the ace 10 offs and the king 9 suiteds, they're targeting like the floor of the opening range. These king X combos are comprised a lot of that initial openers.
Yeah, we
the
we
lower
could
end
go
of his
king
opening.
twos and king 3.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously not those, but I think it's just a pip under the cards that we're kind of targeting. We're targeting this region. They're gonna have a really hard time continuing versus this.
Yeah, maybe that. Yeah, could be.
And then this right here, these are picked targeting this, right? I mean, that's pretty
Yeah,
conventional.
that's
wisdom.
logical. I think. I mean,
That's logical. I think that same concept's probably being applied here to some of these queens. Now that being said, we're pretty deep here in the weeds with how we're constructing ranges in ICM environments. So if you were actually going to start pulling some of these, you would have to have a pretty good amount of confidence in your opponent that they were competent, you know.
That they are playing correctly.
Right, at least within a grenade shot of what they're supposed to be doing. They're constructing the base of their range correctly, which would be heavy kings, heavy aces. So
What's the button calling range actually? That's ace queen off and queens.
right. So again, very, very linear range here.
Yeah.
Taking some of these hands that are too strong to fold, just flatting them, balancing it with aces, pretty high frequency. The button has 26 big blinds. We're trying to be respectful, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe it's just,
Yeah, he should be tight, because he's in against the bigger stack. So indeed, his range is pretty tight from the button.
right.
All
right.
players stop aces.
All right, let's do another trainer. Let's do 2 tables just so it goes a little bit quicker. Do we have?
You know what
any
we should do? I wanna see if you refresh this page.
Refresh this?
Yes.
See if it starts over the score. I think it runs on like a timer, like a 24-hour deal.
Are you sure? Just do one table.
You might be able to clear it somehow. That might be it.
Yeah, you may be able to clear your cache or something. It might,
Be
might use that.
There might be a reset button to
Well,
do
in
it.
beta version, so it's not maybe not all
All right, let's just run we'll run another one. We're gonna do 2 tables. Any volunteers, and we'll just see. We'll mess with the clearing the cache thing or trying to figure that out afterwards.
Joss, you wanna give it a shot?
Talking to me?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Josh. 2 tables, 20 seconds per ICM only.
Well, you wanna give him 2 tables? Wow, hands full, Joss. Good luck.
We're all rooting for you.
I've got faith.
It's a learning
Alright.
experience.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Tables are small for me. Call on the right side and fold on the left side. Ow.
You wanna do 1 table, Joss?
Jam on the right. Fold on the left. Did we open this?
We opened.
Fold
He-
on the right.
Yeah.
It's a bigger stack fold on the left.
Nice fold.
Mhm.
Fold, would fold.
Call.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
Oh no. Oh yes. Call on the left. Fold on the right.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Hey, you got a sliver there, got a
Yeah,
sliver.
Joss. Big blocker.
It likes blockers. 2 people fight, so fold.
Yeah, that's smart.
Fold on the right.
Yeah, I think that's fold.
Yeah, sometimes jamming indeed. Jam on the left.
It's gonna fold, I bet. Oh, you want jam? Sorry.
I'm on
Nope,
the
you're
jam.
right. Too strong.
Yeah, too strong.
Okay.
Fold. We are against the bigger stack. Some
Yeah,
call.
majority. It's fine.
On the left, I
Push it.
jam.
What button?
Fold king 3. Fold king 9.
Yeah, I think that's right. This is hard.
Jam queens.
Yeah.
Raise ace queen.
Good. That's a good one.
Nice call.
No, never call out of position.
No, I meant nice decision, nice decision.
Oh, fold king 4. Yeah, it wants to jam some, but I fold ace-4. Fold 6-4. King 10 suited.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that's not the smallest stack. I fold. Fold.
Limp.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
probably
not
limping.
call. So 6-7, I think I'll fold.
Drop the,
Ace-4.
drop the hammer.
Might be a solver
Yeah.
special.
Yeah, fold. But I
All in,
don't.
just all in.
I just fold most of the time. Fold on
Okay.
that. Jeez.
It's easy.
We are early position. I'll fold
Yeah.
against the big
Yeah,
stack.
he doesn't like nines either. Nines are bad.
Unless there's a six. bet.
We block pocket queen.
Fold.
We
King
block
fold.
pocket queens.
We have pocket queens.
We have pocket queens.
Yeah, all in.
You just call.
Call. I mean, it's the same.
Same diff.
Same in there. Jacks, all in. Call. King deuce against two players. Still call. We have suited hand. Don't know. I might fold 5 deuce.
Mm-hmm.
Fold 5-3. Eights. Close.
It is.
It was a shortest stack.
All in.
Right, yeah.
Oh, fold.
I think it's fine.
It's fold.
Wow.
All in.
Here's blocker. Let's go.
Yeah, it's blocker indeed. Let's see. Call. Yeah, same stacks.
Ooh, doesn't like calling here.
Doesn't like calling fold. Even fold.
That's something I picked up today. We do
Kings
very
have-
little calling like multi-way. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
a
we are a big stack, so we can raise indeed. Fold 10-3. Jam.
Not too
Good job,
shabby.
Joss. Great
Very
job,
good.
Joss.
Very good.
better than
You
me.
brought the average up. So
Under time pressure, eh?
Oh, that's good. It worked. If you refresh, it restarts the counter.
yeah, I think so, because we got 38 here. We'll just have to keep track. And see. I
No,
think-
you can just refresh.
80%.
So before we do that, we'll just look at the hands that we mixed. So yeah, this is that
close, I
effect here.
See,
These
we do
guys-
almost no calling. You gotta have 6-5 suited to call here.
Yeah,
And
they are
like,
battling, so you can fold indeed.
right, and then if you are going to continue, like it really is about the ace. the
Yeah, you
ace
want a
block.
king or an ace to block.
And I think like you see this behavior here because they have to call extremely tight because of this. Like,
Yeah, I think that means that blockers are highly effective, so they can only call with ace, king, and better or something like that.
right, we're blocking their continuing range. They're only continuing with some combination. They should only be continuing with some combination of ace and a king. So having these suited aces, these suited kings. If we get called, they flop decently well enough. That's probably why we're just bluffing too much if we're choosing these combos.
We didn't
And,
have enough suited ones, so we have to do some offsuits.
Yeah. So this is an interesting one. I would have thought this was probably a go with personally, but it wants you to be pretty tight.
Yeah, there's.
Is that
we-
because there's
I thought we could jam indeed.
yeah. Is that partially because I don't know. I would think we would go. I mean, I'm trying to think of the logic why we wouldn't go with this here unless we're still supposed to be super tight, considering that it's a 16. It's the second. Well, it's like literally the second or third shortest stack.
Yeah, he's a medium stack, so he should be tight. That's
Medium, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's just purely because his range there, eights is probably just not very good against what he's gonna three bet there.
Yeah, I think whoever's talking is picked up on a
Jamie,
good point.
this is Jamie. JP
Jamie.
Gyro on the, yeah, but
I agree. Okay, so this guy has to be pretty respectful considering he is in the middle and he's doing this into this. So my suspicion would be that this is probably a pretty strong linear range. We can take a peek though. So this is a 6 max. We need low jack to be 1232. So, oh wait, I see what I did here. Okay, that's why, oh, okay, so if we want to keep resetting the results, I'll just keep opening a new window every time. So let's go to the tournaments here. And I'll leave this one open for the tournaments.
That's the situation your buddy was in last night, Louis, where he was in the middle of those two big stacks in an ICM spot.
So what was it? We said it was like 1632 or something. Not 26. Maybe it was 1232. Let's take a peek. 1232. Okay, so and then like this guy, the big blind should be like 19. We're looking at low jack versus cutoff. Yeah, this is the right one. So verse RFI, we're in the cutoff versus low jack. Right. So cutoff range versus low jack RFI as suspected. This is a eights is just performing extremely poorly if this guy's raising.
Eights and nines seems to be always folding against three bets. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much. And I think it's probably because this is what a lot of the three betting ranges look like. So eights and nines are just getting like completely trashed.
that makes sense. It's a very tight linear range, right? There's no, well, I mean, there's a smattering of ace five, ace four, but
Right.
that's it, right?
also yes, all the yeah,
It's all the
world
overpairs, the
is all of
crushes,
the-
all the, it's, I mean, he's raising like 6% of his range, right? Like eights against 6% of your range is probably,
Not
especially in
ideal.
an ICM situation, just not good.
Yeah, we should be
Probably
getting
just the way to
crushed
think
here.
about it.
So let's just take a look and let's say that the three better is the button range where this guy's got a lot of chips. I imagine it'll still be pretty tight just because it's a
Maybe
12
ace
big
is
blind
getting
stack.
in there now. Wouldn't be surprised if ace gets in there.
But it's expanded, okay, so it's a little bit wider. But it's still pretty tight just because
Well,
it's
it's
12 big
probably
blind stack.
sevens.
Now, if we look at the hijack,
Force.
this is a middling stack. I bet this range is gonna be even wider than this. So hijack, yeah, we're just really trying to engage this guy, the 32, because he's gonna have a really hard time against us.
Post flop indeed, yeah.
Yeah. So we can really make this guy's life miserable as long as these two teams are sticking around. Okay. Was there any other interesting spots? This wasn't that interesting. That was just a misclick, I think. So
Pocket five all in. Oh yeah, this one.
yeah, yeah, it's going kind of crazy right there.
The slivers.
Right.
Yeah, so what's the difference between the thumbs down and the X in the score here?
So the X is just like completely wrong. I think the thumbs down is like a
You missed
frequency.
an
Like
action.
a low probability mix, maybe?
Right, so like we call here, and it's like, it's not crazy, but
Not very
it is
good.
kind of here in no man's land. Same thing probably with this. So we call again, like there's sliver frequencies here, but it should be
Yeah,
a
that's a
fold.
result of not.
All right, so what I'll do is I will close this, I will open this, and then we'll get a fresh counter.
Fresh start.
All right, we have any volunteers? Anyone want to go next?
Oh yeah. I just woke up. Let's do it.
All right, Vince, hop into the driver's seat.
Let's see if the knit.
Oh crap, I screwed it up. We want to do ICM only right now.
No,
Come on.
when it comes to ICM, he's not an int anymore. He becomes an equity warrior. He likes
He's
to
a knit,
double.
and that's ICM correct.
He'd never fold ace queen off on the bubble.
Yeah, exactly.
ICM only. All right.
Yeah, I'm still suffering from fancy plays. That's one of my biggest
Fancy
problems.
play syndrome.
Yeah.
Oh, it's mixing you for some reason.
Wow. 9-9 all in.
Yeah, this is right.
Jack all in. Or call, I
This is
guess.
gonna be- this is gonna be a fold, I think.
Oh shit. Ace 5 flat.
It's a
So just
big
call?
three bet. It's a squeeze. Well, it's fine, yeah.
6-6 fold.
This is probably a call, I would think, but it's close. 35.
Fold.
Fold's good.
Fold.
Yeah,
Fold.
I think fold's good here.
Squeeze.
I was about to say, this might be a solver special. I think having the nines may be bad, though.
Well. Flat.
Yeah,
7-6.
this should be a call, for sure.
Fold 6-3. I'm just gonna fold king 7, I assume.
No matter what happens.
Rip it. Ace
Yeah,
king.
you should be going bananas there for sure. Ooh,
Call it off.
yeah, I think.
That's really close. You know what?
At 16 is pretty.
Call it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
it's an easy fold, man.
4.
I'll answer
Fold
for
5-5.
you.
Ace eight against a small blind was a fold.
It's ICM.
Call.
Yeah.
king
Oh,
seven.
There's
okay.
a 5 big blind stack, a 10 big blind stack, and you're.
Oh, okay,
gonna call
okay. I didn't know it was
60.
ICM. Sorry, I'm gonna turn them.
Fold 10-3. Flat. King 3 suited. Call
Gonna
king
be-
3 suited.
No,
gonna be a
no,
fold.
that's a
Fold.
blunder.
Wow.
Yeah, you missed the early part, man.
Oh, you know what? Oh, sorry. Yeah, fold the king jack.
Yeah.
Fold jack 9.
Yeah, this is a fold.
Like whenever
Okay.
you're multi-way,
Whoa.
you're extremely tight. man.
What?
Yeah, the big stack.
Fold 6-6. Call 8-8.
This is gonna be close.
Oh,
Fold with 8.
Fold king jack.
Yeah, it's fold.
Call 7-4.
This is a
Fold.
call.
This
This
is
is
a
a call.
call. Oh, it's chippy V. Never mind.
Yeah,
I got confused on that king 3 hand as well. I thought it was chippy V. Fold queen jack.
This is right. No, it's wrong.
What? Fold jack 10.
5.
only
Fold.
5 to call.
What are we doing, Vince?
Fold queen 7. Fold queen
I
7.
think you call. No, you do fold. God.
Way to go, Vince.
All in.
fold.
5-5.
Never.
Ah, shit.
Call.
Punting.
Fold.
Call.
Call
I think
7-7.
it's fold.
Call 7-7.
Everyone's right.
Can call.
Fold 8-8.
Oh man, you don't want to get in the middle of this?
Nah, don't want that smoke. Fold 8-4.
This is probably a good fold, yeah.
Call 6-6. Oh,
You're gonna
sorry.
cold
We're sorry. Fold 6-6.
Fold.
Fold 6-6.
Well, oh, please.
Fold 8-6.
Cold calling 3 bets this morning. Wow.
I thought we were opening it. Fold 5-5. And
Please.
fold ace queen.
Probably good.
Oh no,
Actually,
we're going all in. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Squeeze.
This solidifies my position of ace queen. Yeah, fold jack 6.
16, 17.
Fold ace 10 suit.
Probably.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's a pure fold.
Oh, okay.
All the
we
17 big
overflat.
blind
Okay, yeah.
stacks.
Raise ace 3 suited.
this is probably okay. Nope, this is.
Never mind. Fold 10-7. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna call 8-8, I assume. Yeah, call 8-8.
Yeah, we could. We're still getting implied
Call jack
odds.
jack.
Well, it's close though.
Ooh,
10
what
to
are we doing
1.
here? This
Call
is
it
gonna
off,
be
jack, jack.
close. This is gonna be close. It's close.
Final table.
Fold. Queen 6 suited.
Here,
No, we
continue
can
to-
call. Can we?
I'm folding. Oh,
You're closing the action here. It's not.
Yeah,
that's-
if there are 100 big blind stacks, we can call there.
All right, Vince, you got a high C. Congratulations.
nice.
All right, let's go back and review some of the interesting spots. So, this is an interesting one because he raises.
4-bet calls.
See,
Yeah, you have to fold against 4-bet
there's
call.
some weird blocker stuff going on here. Because it's like, okay, with tens and these, and then this. I mean, this is probably not the worst thing here. I don't mind folding versus this, though. This is like super strong versus this, which is super strong. I mean, this doesn't have to be super strong. This guy's big stack, so he could be kind of full of it. But this guy should be,
Is that a cold 4 jam?
The cold
Yeah.
4
Yeah.
jam, yeah.
So like, I get
Early
the,
position opener, I mean,
I hate the calls of 6, 6, 7, 7, and 8, 8 on this.
just
well,
fold
I
them.
agree with that. I mean, I get the
Yeah.
folds of jack, jack. I don't understand the 6-3.
I
I-
think some of this is reverse implied odds kind of stuff, right? So a lot of what he's opening is kings and aces, like king X, ace X. A lot of what he's 3-betting is king X, ace X. A lot of what he's jamming is king X, 8X. So like, it's the same reason like a jack through 8 wrap in PLO does really well, is because a lot of their outs are dead to each other. But I mean,
You
I
don't
don't
block
know.
auto folds, ace jack.
I hate it.
Yeah,
Even
I'm,
jack folds maybe from early position. If you
I think in reality, I'm probably just going to fold this with the prospect of a pay jump being pretty on the table. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's kind of, this is tough because they're so deep. Like this is gonna be so, this is gonna be so many folds. And this is
It's a
gonna be a lot
fold.
of folds.
And
I
you
think
seem like there's a
tens,
short
I
stack.
think tens is a fold too.
Hey, folding queens here, it's so tough.
Yeah, who's folding queens? Wait, I think it was
Sorry.
folding a small majority or a small portion of kings, right? Or did I see that wrong?
Maybe. I
Oh no,
don't
sorry,
think-
ace
ace
king.
king off, folding some.
I don't understand why it would have the tens over the jacks, because they're both in play for all those ranges. There's no
Oh.
difference.
There's
You gotta
different.
look at kind of what these 3-bet ranges look like and what these 4-bet ranges look like. It's probably just blocking the,
It's more jacks
non-value.
because like actually it's gonna have like a suited jack is gonna jam bluff.
Yeah,
some,
but
so maybe that's why
oh,
the jacks are out.
they're not gonna bluff enough. So if you see
Yeah,
a
but
hand
early
that is
position is
mixing,
opening
you
ace
can
jack
remove it.
and
Pocket
the opposite
ten there,
is
you can remove it.
maybe 3-betting ace jack
Right.
suited, but not ace
yeah,
10
I
suited.
mean, in actuality, this right here, like you would probably not be making a mistake to remove this and just keep this up here. And
Yeah.
even maybe remove this, just fold
Yeah.
this.
Like if you looked at the
Yeah.
EVs associated with 10-10 and
Yeah.
Jack, they're probably really close, and it's just the line.
Negative
Just
0.61,
blocker.
negative 0.62. Like these are yielding negative chips, just less negative than letting your big blind go. Like it's marginal, right? I mean, you're not even excited about these spots, really. All right, so what was this? This was a squeeze spot.
Out of squeeze spot.
This was a Vince special squeeze.
Yeah.
It wanted some of the jacks, it looks like, is where
It's so out of range.
I thought this I thought this is where we were gonna see a lot of the squeeziness, but it's a little tighter for whatever reason. I guess just because 25 big blinds are kind of goofy to squeeze with.
Yeah, it is also an early position opener. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And we are not on the button even, so.
So, yeah, the solver special here is just not liking the action. King 3, what did we do here?
Oh, this is I thought this is a chip EV spot.
Yeah, you thought it was King 4, I think, or not? King
No,
4.
I thought it was a chip EV spot.
5-5. It's like at the bottom of the continuing range. Wanting to jam this kind of like middling thing. Let's see what else we got. Ace queen off.
Yeah, that's a squeeze.
Yeah, it made the cutoff here. Which is kind of surprising because looking at a 6 big blind stack, an 18 big blind stack, and I mean, I guess
There were no raises, there's only calls, etc. So you're fighting mostly against the first in position play.
Yeah, but at 26 bigs, you can put, I mean, you know, you can put some pressure on like the 36 big blind stack and the 40. It's not like the 36 big blind stack and the 46 big blind stack are going to be real thrilled about getting it in here for like half their stack.
So taking like a closer look at this, middle position is highly incentivized to put this guy in a pressure cooker because of this and because of that, and he didn't. So this is fairly capped. This guy, following that logic, knowing that this guy's capped, not raising here into a guy you're covering who you can pressure in a capped range makes him capped, which leads kind of us to be able to go bananas with our value range, which this is kind of like the bottom of the value range. So like, this is the only range that we really have to worry about. You know, that's like, this is gonna have like some tens, which is probably folding, nines, ace jacks and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I can get behind this.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, especially because I mean, if the EP was like much bigger, I mean, I think it's a kind of a weird spot too, right?
Yeah,
because like because EP's only got 36, but he's actually kind of a middle stack here. That's the only thing about this. It's a little bit dicey. Is that he is a middle? Is that he's a middle stack, and middle stack should be by definition tighter here.
Yeah, I mean, he should be somewhat respectful.
What I really like about this scenario, we have no suited aces. Calling.
And also the 2 big stacks are still in, so the EPG early position player has to be can't call off of ace king maybe.
So
ace jack suited, ace 10 suited.
I have a question.
Ace 5 suited.
I have a question about the ace queen there. If we raise, aren't we raising? If we do just a squeeze raise, aren't we going in for more than a third of our stack, and shouldn't we therefore be shoving it? So why do we have any raising range? with the ace queen.
The only reason you have a non all in 3-betting range here is because I can tell you the EV of aces raising non all in is higher than jamming. And you can't just, a solver's not gonna just pick one combo, so it's balancing with the bottom jacks to protect this. And it's just picking some ace queen also.
Gotcha, because of all the hands left, this is the one that
Right.
fits best.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why-
you see, like, look at the EV right there. It's 5.31 versus 4.89. Like, it's not significant. It's significant enough to make a difference where it's implementing a mixed strategy here.
Right, that's the ace.
Yes.
Right, okay.
So, and it's just protecting that with the bottom. And I didn't even notice this, but look at this.
Deuces, yeah, I saw it.
Look at this.
Ken would be happy to see.
Yeah, that's a weird combo. I mean,
Yeah, deuce never lose.
Would you
mean-
hover over the jack and the ace queen for a second? I just want to see what the difference in AVs there are. So the
Right,
jack,
so the EV is gonna be better for jamming this hand. What's interesting is, oh wait, no.
why are we not?
I'm wrong. We're looking at negative numbers. So yeah, the highest EV is not all in 3-betting this.
Why are
then
we doing any
fold it.
negative? Why are we taking any negative EVs? Oh, because right, we're in the big blind. I'm done.
folding is more negative.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got it.
yeah. Okay, and then you're gonna see a similar scenario play out here. Yeah, so it's all super marginal.
Betting all in is better for ace queen.
The ace queen wants to, the ace queen just on its own wants to shove.
I actually could call. No, shove, yeah, shove.
It wants to
Yeah.
shove is its best thing, but you have that little bit of balance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
okay. That's fine.
cool.
Like if you squeeze jacks here, what do you do? I assume you, I mean, if it's at bottom of our range and we squeeze it, what are we doing if we get repopped? I mean, just have to call at that point. I mean,
I
it's,
think we're
If two players pop, that you fold.
yeah, I mean, that's the only thing, right? If you squeeze, obviously if you squeeze it, it goes crazy behind you. Yeah, you could probably get away from it, but I mean, if just one player like repops, do we just have to? I mean, the only thing that's weird about that is that like you're basically taking a bluff, what's effectively quote bluff, but you're almost certainly going to be in a position where you have to call off with it, aren't you? Or maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna be raising. How much is it?
6,
Like
8,
half your
10,
stack here? I think it'd be half of your stack. or
13,
something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just surprised we don't have, or maybe there's no such thing as like an ace 5 suited, just random ace X hand that you could just do this with the idea that you would bet fold it.
Yeah, but then you
It
bet
doesn't-
against
I just don't think we have a,
stacks, that's probably
I don't
not-
think we have a raise fold range here. I think.
Yeah, no,
anything-
exactly, right? So is it just,
Only
is
if
it
they
just
go all crazy, then I would fold, maybe not.
Yeah, Jamie, I think the thing is that, in a final table situation, people aren't playing that game and things, those things are kind of very linear.
no, absolutely, for sure. I'm just a little bit strange that we wouldn't just. I just trying to figure out what the logic here at off 26 bigs of having a raise range at all is.
Well,
You wanna
yeah,
get value
yeah,
when
exactly.
you have aces.
Aces is more EV, so yeah, that's the reason.
You're trying to figure out why we're not just jamming all of this?
Yeah, just a linear, just because any raise here is
Yeah. So-
is pot committing, so we have like no other options, right? Like,
Yeah, Jamie, but that's what, so Louis just gave you the answer, which is you want to just raise with aces and you need something to balance that so everybody doesn't say, oh, he always has aces. So
Right.
you got to find something else in the range to min raise, to raise with, not min raise,
Yep.
as opposed to jam so that you can raise your aces.
Alright,
Right.
who's up next?
Hold on one second before we go away on this one. If the deuces are this, why, what's the possible blocker effect that says deuces yes, but threes and fours no?
Deuces are losing here. If you see the EV of
Maybe
deuces,
they open
they're
trees and
negative.
not deuces,
So
huh?
you can remove that from your strategy. It's fine. You're
Yeah,
losing when you make a play with it.
You can interchange any of this, I think, and you would be okay. Like, if you didn't want to do deuces, you could probably do fours. If you didn't want to do fours, you probably do threes. I think it's
If you
it's
don't
just
wanna
going to
do
be-
it, it's probably fine.
Yeah, if you don't want to do any of them, it's probably.
You're
okay.
fine if you don't want to do it. I mean, that's
Yeah, I think it's just to have a represented calling range here at some frequency is all.
it's not only blocking value, eh? Sometimes it's just blocking folding hands.
Okay.
Deuces is not blocking any folds.
All right, who's up
Okay.
next?
Yeah, we can go.
I'll give it a try and,
All right.
although I'll tell, I not only is all of, the tournament stuff new to me, 2 tables is new to me. So if you want to do it at
can do
one
one
table,
if you're more
better, but
comfortable with
I'll give it a
one.
try at whatever.
Give him one.
Give him
Okay.
3 tables.
ICM only.
Okay,
Just to learn.
yeah.
Let's
Alright,
play
here.
with this thing here and see what it does. You're
Okay,
still gonna have
give him one table, but give him less time. So point
You got it. All right.
All right, so we'll chop it down to 15 seconds.
I can live with that.
I don't know what the speed does either. I think it probably just plays the
How it
hand
goes through
quicker.
next thing. All right.
Slower here, no?
It's faster. We'll see. I'm
Okay,
just
and
playing
this is
with
How
all
many
it.
gonna be-
seconds
this is all
the
gonna be
table pops
ICM.
up?
Okay.
This is not ICM. Why is
Oh,
this?
make it
Oh, we're
chippy,
not ICM.
make it ICM only.
I thought I
Okay.
did.
Well,
Here,
okay,
let's
non
You
ICM.
did it screwed up. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes does. It's still beta, so.
All right, ICM only.
Yeah, that's what we're working on.
One
One
table,
table,
15 seconds.
10 seconds, 15 seconds.
I think
Alright.
the
Oh, it's because it's your chip EV. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, got it.
All right, so it says ICM only.
We're ready.
It says ICM only, I think.
Yep.
Works.
I made it to the final table, you guys.
Here it is.
Go,
I'm
Scott!
not sure if you did it yet. We're gonna see.
That I made it to the final table.
Maybe
Right.
not yet. We'll see.
Who knows? But don't screw it up now. Not the money.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you did it.
I did it.
You did it.
Fold.
Yeah, this guy, high probability of going broke here, so we're.
Side
folding.
question, what do you do with ace three?
Off?
Fold.
Fold.
Oh, you're back on the regular table.
Okay.
It's mixing.
I'm on a regular table. Queen 10, fold.
Strange behavior indeed.
I don't know why it's
Regular
being
table.
goofy and doing this, but it'll be all right.
We had a good streak when I did it.
Call.
This is probably a fine call, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder
All
why it's
right.
missing. Okay, I see it. All right, 24, queen 9, fold.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe some kind of raising here.
Some raising, but there's gonna be
But
some fold. It's all fold.
Just folds.
Okay, regular table. Ooh, I flatted that.
Squeeze,
And then he
So,
called. Ooh,
squeeze call.
Still call.
okay, I'll call.
Yeah, I was thinking call.
Yeah, you can
All
say.
right, ICM and jacks.
Shove.
Yeah, I think shoves are good. They all have a lot of ICM pressure on them. It's
Yeah.
25 equal stack, so.
Yep. Fold.
Yay.
Closing the action, final table. Let me see, are there any micro stacks? No. I think I can call this.
Yeah, the big stack indeed, so.
I was thinking you could raise it. Call's
Yeah,
good.
well, turns out I couldn't. A7 fold.
I thought it was a pure fold with king three suited, but we're the big stack.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that makes
That's
the
the
difference.
difference.
I'm thinking call, but don't hit the button yet. I'm just looking at the stacks. Call. I don't have time to decide.
I was thinking this.
Yeah. 36, 40. I don't
Easy.
want to fuck with it. I'm gonna fold it.
You could call here.
Yeah,
Oh, I would fold always. Yeah.
I kid.
It's fine. Let's see.
Okay.
Squeeze.
All big stacks. I've been squeezed. I'm in a terrible position.
Chip EV.
I'm gonna fold it. Oh, it's chip EV. Call.
It's fold.
Still fold.
Okay.
But
It's 12
perfect.
more.
Wasn't that wrong? I'm okay with that sliver. Fold. I'm not
This might
squeezing.
go bananas. I'm not
It might.
sure. I think it's probably a fold though.
I want to suited hand, I think, or not.
Final
We
table.
open,
we
we
raised.
get-
Gets squeezed by the big blind. He's short. Call.
I would
Yes, one
fold.
shorter stack indeed, so maybe you can call.
Oh,
Probably a pip off. It's close.
okay.
Oh, this is an interesting spot. We can probably go
This is-
bananas here.
See where them.
Yeah, there's one.
I mean, yeah, they're all short stacks.
Time out. Get timed out and fold.
Oh, wow, I would have jammed that.
I'm out. with it.
That's what I did. I folded it on a
I was
timeout.
gonna jam it.
I was too.
Oh,
I'm folding this.
What? 5 bet. You don't have any 5 bets.
Mhm.
you need the ace five suited.
Close the action, regular table. I still folding this.
Fold its
I think I-
offsuit.
Still
think
folding
you
this.
call.
Might see a
Still
flop.
fine.
No.
Raise.
I like raise.
Oh,
Oh, he just
shove
wants
it.
to pile.
Shove it.
It's really raised. It's not just
I'm so
raised.
bad at that stuff. Fold.
Yeah, I think fold's good here.
30 big, deep in it. Yeah.
He's on a 3 bet.
Really?
Fold.
Yeah, this is a fold. Ace nine.
At the final table. Oh, fold. I'm a
Love
big
it.
stack. I'm folding anyway. Yeah. I'm still the
Yeah,
big
that's-
stack after this hand.
Bananas.
Okay. I want to raise.
I like raise.
I don't like raise. Why would
You
you?
found
go
it.
here?
You found it.
I found it.
Was that a yes? Was that a raise?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a raise.
good.
50% almost.
Sevens to this guy. Call. No,
All
that's
price.
all, no, it should have been an all in,
No, no.
but I was okay with it. Okay.
Yeah, mixed frequency
I
is
didn't-
good.
I wasn't folding it.
Can put pressure, just bet
12 big
small.
blinds, fold.
I like folds.
Yeah, I would fold also. I would
Fold.
This is tricky. This is gonna be closer than you think, I think. I think it is a fold, though. This was like king, jack, it'd be a call.
I think because you got the guy behind you, you got to fold that. Don't you?
Yeah, otherwise you're out of position in against two players.
I'm not calling. Am I raising this? Let's see, is there any reason? I got 36. I'm raising this.
I was folding.
Yeah, you can even fold indeed.
Finally.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
man.
definitely raising. Let me see. Am I shoving? No, I'm raising.
I think this is good.
Can
Oh,
go
no,
all in.
it's
I
shoving.
think.
Oh,
Just wants to pile, but instinct was right either way.
Yeah. I'm folding.
Yeah, this is a fold, I think. It's close, though. Hmm.
Six. Nobody's tiny.
I would be
So I can call this. Call. Ah,
I'm a fish. I fished you in.
yeah, we fished it too.
Galen's lecture
Let
earlier
him
really
fight.
applies.
Fold.
Clear fold.
Really?
Ooh,
It's going bananas.
wow.
Got some of that.
That's the lower part of going banana.
Four. Chippy.
Fold nines
V.
and tens.
100 bigs.
Oh, call, 100 deep.
No,
Call.
no, raise.
It's gonna wanna- it's gonna wanna
Alright, well, I
squeeze.
just called it anyway.
Yeah, it's good.
More
It's
right
good.
than wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
Final table.
Alright, Final table fold. I don't want to
Yeah,
be
this
anywhere
is,
near
this
this.
is a fold.
Full table, fold.
Yeah, that's just say that. Just say final table fold.
Fold and collect money.
Good jobs.
No, still not calling this.
Yeah, if it was
I'm
suited, it
dominant.
might be okay. Oh, it is calling.
All right, fine. I can live with
I
that.
would, it's close.
Yeah.
King eight offsuit.
Fold.
Final table. Against
Yeah,
the
it's
big
probably,
stack. Fold.
it may go bananas. I think it's
Yep,
folding.
might.
I think it's folding.
Not suited.
Yeah, I think you want the suited variety.
Raise,
Bananas.
re-raise. The other guy's got 10 left.
Ooh.
If
What
not
are you gonna
suited
do?
kings and
I think you,
Fold.
Ripperoni, man.
it's
I
rip
was
or
thinking,
fold.
I was thinking ripperoni.
I'm
Yep.
Ripperoni there every time.
Good rip. Regular chippy V. That's 13. I'm not getting the odds for it. Fold.
This is gonna be like nines, I think. It's gonna be eights or sevens is when it starts.
Okay.
Getting excited. Well, here you go. Good
Oh,
example.
oh wait, I've got 15. Hold on. I got 15 here.
Everyone has 15.
Right, we're all fit small. Shove it.
I like it.
Oh,
What?
oh.
I think everybody would have gotten that wrong.
Screw you, solver.
I think the solver doesn't know what rebuy equity is.
Wait, fold king two here.
This is might be a call. No, it's full. He's so short. All right, 74, still pretty good.
Very good.
I'm happy with that. Let's see what you got, what I blew.
So what do we say? We said fold this. It wants to call just because I think we're the big stack and his
These
raise
hands,
range-
they do better than like, higher hands here.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I've
think
seen
this-
it multi-way calling with 6-5 suited and 5-4 suited, and then it was folding like 9-8 suited and stuff like that.
And we look at
Right.
this and the big blind is not incentivized to shove with the 10 big blind hijack behind it.
True.
So that's good.
right, so he's gotta be respectful.
Right. That's the
this-
important thing that I
He
think
should be
that's
open
important
minded.
here.
Yeah, I do
Very.
too. He's not gonna be really represented in this region of the tree, the grid, like his opening range. So like when we
Yeah.
get low flops, I think we can just
We own
really. Yeah, he's gonna have a hard time, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
That
we
makes
cover, and we cover him and he doesn't want to, and he doesn't want to fight us.
Right,
Yeah, but we don't want to
He's
fight
highly
him
incentivized to be
either.
careful.
right. So what do we do with A7 here? We said fold. 20 big blinds.
Yeah, you have to.
It was right.
This is,
I can
this
fold
is-
some.
Thumbs up.
we
What do-
folded it. You could probably like remove a lot of this. Just because I don't know
Oh, I
how
see.
many, I don't know how many raise folds 10 big blinds has from like EP. Like in actuality, right?
I have.
Like, what's his range look like? So what do we say it was? Low jack 10, 20, it's like 10 and 20 effective. So we had 10, 20 effective. Let's just see what the RFI range looks like. So very ace king heavy, which makes sense.
He's gonna fold his offsuit ace nine.
Yeah, ace 8, ace 9, ace 10 maybe even.
So let's say verse three
Ace 10
bet,
I don't know actually.
low
I
jack.
wonder if there's a way in this program that you can actually pull up those ranges in the player.
Yeah, you can.
Maybe. It just gives you like it gives you this range for the actual decision in the tree. But I'm not sure if you can actually start investigating all the other ranges.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like if you hover over that, it doesn't pull up a range or something.
Yeah, not
Okay.
yet.
I was just curious.
Okay, now when we look at this one here, when we look at his next step, this is not going to include the calls and stuff in the middle, in between.
Right, yeah,
It's
this
just gonna be the
is-
simplified version of it.
Correct. It's gonna, I don't know if I don't know if I can access those ranges here, but
Okay, that's fine.
just given the 3-bet range, we can assume that it's gonna be this, but tighter. And I just wonder, I wonder if someone opening with 10 big blinds is just going to be folding suited aces versus continued aggression very often. Like this is a tough one just because we're gonna have to make some pretty we're gonna have some conviction in our assumptions here.
Yeah.
With the fact that someone's has an opening folding range at 10 big blinds, which I don't know if I can confidently say without actually seeing the guy play a little bit.
Right. And we have to, and we also have to assume, we have to feel confident in our assumptions that all the callers behind him really are capped, that nobody's playing second hand low, that nobody's, nobody's being non-GTO tricky.
Yeah,
Right,
so you block some of the tricky hands.
The fact that I think these are they're not gonna be, the flats here aren't gonna be as capped as they were in the other situations. So it's like, say verse RFI, we'll just say we're in, let's look at the button first. So it's still pretty linear. All right, so wait, button versus RFI from the low jack. This is what he calls off a jam with. So.
But he has aces in his flatting range.
He's flatting aces. Now we block that.
Right, so we're blocking the value portion of that.
Like, but look at how rarely he calls anyway.
No.
Let's say he has, I mean, if you look at that calling range and really play it, we're beaten by the ace 10, we're beaten by the ace jack, we're beaten by the aces, and we hate and when he does tens or eights, we have to be confident he's folding those to us because we're way behind those.
Yeah, but solver would, and some players will open wider, so it's hard to say what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm.
Okay, so the earlier we get, we start seeing more flatting. Let's see, hijack, see if it continues. Okay, so yeah, hijack, we do quite a bit more flatting.
Yeah, but still pretty strong.
Out of position, we're just not flatting. Big blind, yeah, as suspected, has quite a bit of flatting. Yeah, so this is a very contextual situation. Like, you really kind of have to read into the tea leaves of the situation you're actually in, Has the guy been on a 10 big blind stack since final 3 tables? Or has he been short stack? Have you seen him raise, folds?
Yeah.
You really kind of need some of those things before you start pulling out this in the squeeze jam range. Queen 10, what do we do?
Oh, I was completely wrong on this one.
So again, it gets to the whole king and ace blocker thing. It really wants a king or an ace. Or like, see, these are kind of interesting to me. The jack 10, the 9-10 suited. I don't know if finding those.
No, I will never find those.
Some of these pairs, though.
Well, I tried to call. That was completely wrong.
I mean, it wasn't completely wrong. It's just like, if you look at the.
No, I mean, there's no calling in that region. If I had jam, I would rather be wrong and jam that because it jams jack 10 and it jams king 10. So I can argue that queen 10 is not that different, but there's nothing near it that's calling. So calling is way wrong.
Well, queen 10 is usually really, really bad, right? This part of the range is like the weakest part of our Broadway, so.
Would you rather call pocket sixes or queen 10 suited?
Pocket sixes.
I think pocket sixes is going to get you into less trouble post flop.
Yep.
Yeah, because you know whether you hit it.
Queen 10 is dominated a lot. That's the problem. I think.
Like, if a king queen 8 flop comes, you can get away from sixes. You're going to be you're going to be on the hook with that middle pair if you have the queen.
And he's going to and his next bet is going to be all in.
Well, yeah, SPR's jacked up at this point.
Yeah, so I can't fold the 10. Yeah, so just get away from it now.
I mean, this seems to be a pattern in a lot of these situations that these middling-ish queen X hands are usually not the best. Like it'll just in a lot of general push fold situations, like a lot of these queen X hands are just not Great.
Well, yeah, so
Yeah, you want to
heuristically,
block,
you can take that away to like your final table situations now, like, and try to apply it contextually. So it's, we know what the general behavior with these middling queen X's are. So you're probably not making huge mistakes in your actual table situation by just folding them.
You don't mean pre-flop, you mean raise fold.
Yeah, be raise folds.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
what about the, yeah, but everything that we've just said about why we want to fold queen 10, which I agree with. I think, doesn't it also apply to the jack 10 and the 10-9?
So, yeah, I mean, I personally don't mind just, this is solely, I think, trying to, it's a balancing thing, I think.
Right.
I'm just not doing this, and there's, I think, too many assumptions about the exact final table situation for me to really care about this. If
Right.
you look at the EVs, jamming is negative 0.155 versus negative point or negative 1.57. So like just removing this portion from your strategy is not going to rob you of EV.
Great. Show me the difference between the queen 10 and the jack 10. Oh, it's not gonna, the queen 10. Oh yeah, it'll tell me. So it would be right. So 1.58 compared to 1.55. So it's not that much worse.
Not really. No, it's not
Yeah,
that much
it's
worse.
just, yeah,
The big mistake here is flatting.
right.
As
The
if
flat
we're
is
talking like the
1.6
difference
instead of 1.5. I lose a tenth.
Mhm. But
Yeah, jam or folds.
Yeah. Right. So again,
okay,
I would have been better to be wrong by jamming than wrong
Right.
by calling. Okay.
in this exact scenario, and I think some of that's got to do with the fact that you can't go broke here. So it's like, you know, he with this behind, like he should be somewhat respectful.
Right. With that 6 big blind
Uh,
there, you should just stay away from me.
8-4. Okay, so this was an interesting spot.
8-4 jam.
So we have this 10 big blind stack here. He's gonna have to be pretty respectful. So I think the fact that we have equal stacks here pretty much, and we're in the middle, which, you know, applies quite a bit of pressure, we really do just get to go bananas.
Yeah.
And like, it's taking like all of your offsuit blocker hands, and then it's just taking this giant blob of playability where these hands, like, I guess, just flop reasonably well.
Yeah.
But
I don't think
yeah.
you make a huge mistake though by, I mean, I would assume 8-4 suit is probably one of our weakest hands we would be doing this with, for sure.
Right. So I mean,
well, the
you're losing
8-3 raises.
I mean, I'm sure I was going to say the equities here probably run all pretty close together.
Right.
Plus, I mean,
What
take a
is he calling with when we jam here?
I'm about to check that out in a sec.
Right.
But
Yeah,
Before we
'cause
get off this,
I know he's not supposed to like call at all. So this is
so
yeah,
this is
and when we jam these hands, when he calls, we're usually not dominated.
Yeah.
we're
I
gonna be
think that's why
flopping
it's jamming.
decently well. I think he's gonna be having to call pretty tight. Like he's probably gonna be folding maybe up to somewhere around here. And he's gonna be folding up to somewhere around here.
I don't think he even calls with ace-9 suited. I don't think.
I mean, I'm thinking this is something like 8 to 10%, maybe.
that
With that
we're
10
talking
big
about
blind
whether he calls
stack.
with jam.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
we're
I cannot imagine it's that high at all, just because
So
of the
this
10
would be
big blind stack.
A 10, a bunch of 20s, and a 40. Let me know if anyone sees it. So here it is. Here's our spot. And we are small blind, big blind. So so we need to go to blind versus blind.
Bottom would probably be like ace-queen off, something like that.
So big blind versus small blind all in. So the ace-9 is like indifferent. The ace-8 is marginal, and then like
Yeah,
7
10.
plus.
Yeah, I thought about 10%. It's pretty close.
Yeah. And what does
Yeah,
he do
pretty
against a
close.
raise instead of a shove? What's
Okay, I'm gonna guess.
If you
before we
raise, you
look.
get shoved on a lot, huh?
You raise here, you're in trouble, dude. If the guy in the big blind knows what he's doing, you raise, they jam, you can't call.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're gonna get a lot of this thrown in your face. You're gonna get basically all of this thrown in your face, I think.
Okay.
But we'll check. I'm curious. So small
I
blind
would
open.
probably jam a lot of aces.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We're getting this thrown in our face.
Because
He's taking this
sevens,
to the flop, which is
sevens
different.
and ace nine off. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah. But this is a lot. He's taking basically all of his offsuit combos and just saying, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he also calls like 35% of the time. So basically, like,
And he's
basically going to continue half the time here, roughly, right? So
then-
like, it's a whole lot better for him to fold 90% of the time than for him to continue in some
Right.
fashion 50% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting to look at the calling range here.
What he's actually calling your raise with?
Yeah, like who's
don't
calling
think
here
they
with
are.
10-10, Jack-Jack, Queen-Queen, and King-King?
That's
Be
a good point.
honest.
Somebody who's paranoid that, like, you know, they were trying to induce them into like doing something.
Someone who thinks that someone who's trapping with kings and queens.
I would trap with
Trapping.
kings.
So like realistically, what I'm doing is I might flat with this region, but all of this, all the way down, I'm just gonna be piling in your face.
Just shove and be done with it.
Yeah. Who's
Yeah,
trapping
you
with pocket sixes here?
And not trapping.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But if you have but if you have a raise strategy from the small blind, you have to have some hands that are reasonable, right? Or some hands
Right,
that are reasonably strong to like bet call off, right? So
right.
If you
you
look
have
at
to. So the range is, it's not like, yeah, I mean, you're gonna trap, you're gonna sometimes limp some really strong hands here, but if you look the small blind first blind in, you know, you're always raising aces, you're always raising. Well, you're not always raising. Always raising your good ace sets. You're always good. Yeah.
These ranges are far from reality. I don't see people at a final table jamming like 8-4 suited.
So
I do it.
like
Yeah, you
this,
don't see it
But
because-
I'll see people jamming
I do.
10-6 suited. I'll
This
see
is
people
reality.
jamming queen 4 suited for sure. I mean,
I think a lot of people are doing this.
it's not
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Queen 4, yes. It's
Yeah.
not
Like
ridiculous.
even like, I mean 10-6 suited I've seen. I mean,
I think a lot of this
The
is
small
probably-
blind, I jam a lot.
Like,
So
so something you can take away from this is knowing how he's calling. If it's a player who seems like they're really concerned about making pay jumps, who's very, very tight, you know, running like a VPIP of less than 10 or something, you could probably even expand this jamming range and just make like all of this.
Oh yeah.
Like vice versa, if this is a player who is splashy and is putting chips in the
Go
middle,
jam.
yeah, you can basically remove a lot of this and
Thanks
make
a
it
lot,
just
Josh.
flat.
Take care.
Bye, Josh.
See you,
Have a good
Josh.
one. And maybe like develop more of a limp jamming range. So like you could take your weak offsuit aces, still jam these, while maybe some of these you would throw into a limp jam range,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, it's good. Kind of gives you an idea of how aggressive we should be in these situations when there's someone at risk, you know, that's half everyone else's stack.
Now,
And then it's like, so like, what do you think this guy's jamming range is? What do you think he's jamming? Or what do you think he's doing when it's folded to him? Like, what do you think his RFI range looks like from the button?
why?
Wide 60% or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah, he should be going bananas.
I was
Like,
gonna
absolutely.
say it could almost be 82. Maybe not quite 82, but way normal.
mean,
Oh,
I would
it's
not
even
be surprised.
85 almost.
And not all in for
I would not be surprised if his all-in number here. So I could tell you, like, looking at the Adamo final tables I've been watching, if this was Adamo, this number right here would be like 80.
Oh,
That's
wow.
just that's what he does. He's just jamming 80 into these guys because of this.
okay.
But like,
The EV
Actuality-
probably of jamming is pretty close.
Still pretty high, 32% just from a balanced range perspective, but they're
Same.
also like just he's got some raised traps in there also. So like,
All his best hands all his best hands are raised traps, not jams.
yeah, that's kind of what it's doing here.
Oh, king queen suit is a good hand.
I said best.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
say good. I said best.
That's balancing the top of the range.
I mean, his biggest ace that he jams is a 10.
Ace 10, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're sitting there with ace jack against his jam, and if you know this range, you know exactly how you want to play ace jack and above. The rest of your range, you don't.
All right, anyone else wanna go?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, were there any other big wrong ones you wanted to review on that one?
Jamie, you wanna give it a
I
shot?
don't think there was.
I'll give it a shot. I'm probably pretty terrible at this, but
Don't
Good luck,
worry
Jamie.
about it, man.
Yeah,
We're here to
don't.
train and learn.
This is the study session. That's the point.
so this is the time when I could get
The least
40%
expensive
here and
place
not
to
feel
get
bad.
this wrong.
There's actually very little chance that you do worse than Vince, so don't worry.
All
Exactly.
right. Okay.
Getting it
Here is
wrong
where you
here
wanna
doesn't
make all
cost you
your
any money.
mistakes.
Yeah.
Here's where you want to make all your mistakes.
I put my money on you, Jamie.
All right. Now the pressure's on.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's weird that all the arguments.
Why
about
don't
fourth
why I don't
suit-
like being staked.
Oh, here we go.
Jam.
I think this is a fold, high collision effect here.
what do you
but-
mean? We're a chip leader.
Ooh.
Liver.
What?
We get,
They has to be tight.
one of them calls.
Louis,
One thing.
This
EV
is
warrior.
non-ICM, by the way. Green's non-ICM.
All in.
You would have been right with
Yes.
that.
Go, Jamie.
Fold.
This is good, I think. Nope.
This is
Now
so
I'm gonna
sick.
kill two. Okay, where my 3-bet? Fold.
This is probably good.
I think it's a call because given.
Fold because of the 8 and 12 big blind stacks.
Because there are smaller stacks here.
5-2. Fold.
Yeah,
Or no-
it's fold.
Fold with
Yeah.
confidence, Jamie.
You put some goofy ones in there every once in a while. It's like obvious.
Okay, I was like, I was trying to figure out if I was getting like trapped here. I'm gonna say fold, but I think there's a merit to shoving here. Yeah.
Good instinct. This is a fun one.
Like I would be ripping this in game, so I'm gonna say rip and probably be wrong.
I think you're a pip too wide. Yeah, it's
Perfect.
close. So
It's
nines
perfect.
is like full free.
Yeah, I mean it's like 8s is the one that I always get stuck on. 17 big blind stack with the 2 bigs. I'm gonna fold just because he's got the 2 big blind stacks. I don't think we
I
can
bet
call
you-
this.
I bet you rip it.
Think it's a call. Blind versus
Oh.
blind, you're in position, you have a
In
pretty strong
position.
hand, and he's raising.
Yeah, I was 3x though, not 2x.
Supposed
Yeah,
to be
but
three.
it's the small blind, so it's always gonna be 3x.
Shit. God,
Mhm.
call.
I thought it was a fold.
Close.
We can call-
Yeah.
Fold.
Among the other examples, it was a call against multiple players.
Fold.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry, guys.
2, 6. Can we just call? Can we
I
call?
think you can call here.
I would fold.
I think
Not
we're
wrong.
just deep enough where I think we can call.
Oh, spicy.
Fold.
Getting owned.
Fold. We just fold unless we want to be like lunatics.
I bet it calls, so
It
maybe
calls.
calls. Oh,
calls.
God.
You're 100 you're 100 deep.
unblocking your 3-bet
Yeah, I
range.
know we're 100 deep, but that's literally like one of our worst.
Oh, if a low flop comes.
That was a cash game range.
Fold.
I
I don't think we could call.
I like fold. You can't
I
call.
don't think we
you're
could
right.
call it and we can't jam. Okay. Yeah, we're calling.
Yeah, you're too short.
Hell
Just
yeah.
never not.
Hell yeah.
With equal stacks for sure.
Ooh.
I actually think we call here. I don't think we squeeze this spot.
I think it's low frequency this. I was gonna say
King Queen offsuit loves to call in those squeeze spots a lot more than it likes to raise. 22, 26 big blind stack, 50 big blind stack. Can we raise? I mean, raising seems a little probably a punt, but let's raise.
I would call. Oh,
Oh,
fold.
what's a fold?
I didn't know the answer to that one.
I think this is a fold.
Yeah.
Fold against early position raise. Against middle position low jack, I'm pretty sure it's.
All in.
I'm not finding that one.
No, me neither.
Yeah, fold.
We probably call 9s or something here, but no, we call 8s.
Yeah, I was thinking 9s, but 217. Ugh. God,
Yeah,
I think it's a fold just because it's a jam over an EP open.
I think it's this.
Easy call. I'm calling.
It's because it's an EP open. I think we have to fold there because his range isn't gonna. Sixes will not do well against that range. We can call.
I think this is a fold.
Easy.
I think this is a fold because we really want these stacks to battle.
I bet it calls here. So that's what this is kind of like the other one. It's just going to town.
Yeah, wouldn't do that. But
Oh,
we have to call.
I think this is probably. Ugh.